Hello, welcome. Today I shall be talking about differentiated instruction, a teaching approach that helps us meet diverse needs of all the learners in our classroom. So, why is it that differentiated instruction is important? Well, we all talk about the right to education for everyone, for all our children, right? But is this enough? What if we have to meet the learners halfway? What I mean to say is that not all learners are the same. We need to understand that even if we give education to each and every child, we need to give the right kind of education to them, what they require, not what we need to just impart as a knowledge. Yes? So, on that note, we come to the most important topic as to why differentiated instruction is important. Firstly, every student learns differently. Either they could be visual learners or auditory or kinesthetic learners. Hence, one approach does not work for everyone. There are different approaches which allow them to understand information more efficiently and more effectively. So Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences explains why that some students learn best while reading, others through discussion, and another few through visual aids. So the second point, which brings us to the second point, is that using a differentiated classroom boosts engagement and motivation. By making the learners feel relevant and feel important. Here it closes the learning gaps. So no child is isolated or ignored in this case. Yes, then it creates inclusivity and it also improves the classroom engagement and retention. Next, how do we come about doing differentiation? Now, the main principles by which we can achieve this is by adjusting certain constructs of our teaching, namely content. So, here, what the students learn is adjusted based upon how ready they are to learn, upon the materials available, and upon the resources that are there to assist them. Next, we come to the product, wherein we adjust how the students learn or the type of work, or group work, or the teacher's assignment through reinforcing their learners. So all these come under the processes. Then we have the product. Here we adjust how the students showed what they have learned. Now we all adopt the same examination method. But what if there are some students who will definitely tell you what they have learned through in another better way, probably by making a poster or creating a video or making a PPT. What if they are much better at expressing themselves in this way? Then we also have the learning environment, which is a very crucial and very important aspect of learning, wherein you could have quiet corners for students who like to learn independently. You could have certain group tables for students who like to have discussions and learn. Next, we have certain methods by which we achieve these differentiations. So the first one is the method by content. Herein, we could use tired assignments, varied reading materials, learning contracts, and then we have methods by process, wherein we use flexible graphic organizers, learning stations, and then we have choice boards, creative projects, technology integration. Now, coming to technology integration, this is a very essential part of our lives today. So, this caters to individualized learning, such as Khan Academy, Duolingo, etc. Then we also have differentiated classrooms by providing quiet corners, assistive technologies, as well as visual displays. Now, of course, each method comes with its own strength and weaknesses. For example, having assistive technology would require a certain physical resources to be there in the classroom, and it also becomes time sensitive, as teachers have to cater to the students each coming and learning through that method. So, and it also requires a great deal of training on the teacher's part. Then, when we come to the differences between the methods, the key differences would be whether the method is teacher driven or whether it is student driven. So, a teacher driven would be like a tired assignment or scaffolding, where the teacher would decide the level of difficulty that the student has to be put in. However, when you come to choice boards or flexible grouping, here these are more student driven, where the students choose their tasks. But when we come to technology integration, it is an integration of different kinds of methods. So, all the four principles, that is content, process, product, as well as the learning environment, would come and fit into this. So, you see, these are the key differences. Along with that, there are a few similarities also, wherein all of them main aim would be to address the student diversity that exists in our classrooms today. In the side, providing a high enriched environment for learning. So, according to what I have understood with this differentiated instruction, is that no one method works for all. Yes. So you see that firstly, it would depend upon the topic you're teaching. Secondly, an integration of these different methods is what I feel suits best. And this can be seen that by Tomlinson in 2014, by Subban in 2006, that differentiated classrooms wherein you combine everything shows higher student engagement and maximizes the learning. So I also have drafted a small activity plan wherein I'm teaching the sixth grade students addition and subtraction of fractions with unlike denominators. So this begins with a small diagnostic test to know what level the learners come under. So over here, the students are then grouped into tiers, wherein the tier one, two, and three. And in these tiers, what happens is they are given each tier is given a problem. Now, these trios have three students, as I said. One would be a facilitator, a recorder, and a presenter. So the tier one students get scaffolding. The teacher gives them certain sentence frames and hint cards, whereas the tier two, they get certain on level or their grade level practice problems. And the tier three are the higher order thinking skilled students, wherein they get real world challenges, and they need to tackle the real world problems. So over here you see that everyone contributes, and yet learning is inclusive as well as engaging. So, what I gather from this is that students in the end reflect upon these strategies. This, when the teacher, like for example, when the teacher asks what step was the hardest for you and why. So, you see, when the student reflects upon these concepts, these steps and the concept, it builds their metacognition level also. Yes. So, in conclusion, the differentiation ensures fairness. That's what I feel. It is not about lowering our expectations, but it's about giving each student what they need to succeed and not what we want them to learn. That's it. So, when we combine flexibility with structure, all learners, be it the struggling learners, be it the average learners, or the advanced learners, they all grow and they feel valued. Thank you.